Hello and welcome back to Unmissable Movies. Once in a while, comedies come along that seem to define a generation, capturing the mood of the time with a premise, characters, and humour that work in perfect unison.
Sorry, that still sounds like management speak. No.
This week sees The Office, otherwise known as the UK Office, turning 20. And approaching this milestone, Ricky Gervais has had his say on whether or not the show would even be made today. Yes, with a society filled with delicate sensibilities. It's very believable that the show just wouldn't be palatable for Gen Zs, and indeed anyone who heads to Twitter in outrage every time a comedian makes a joke. Recently, the Gervais side of the Gervais merchant pairing looked back considering not just the show's success, but whether it would be cancelled now. So stay with us to hear Ricky Gervais's verdict. But first, as ever, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, and if you could manage it, maybe even give us a like if you enjoy the content. Or just leave it, go your own way and don't look back. Whichever. When recalling the premiere back on the 9th of July 2001, Gervais said, "I didn't have huge ambitions. It was never, this is going to be a massive hit, and the show did not do well to begin with." Producer John Plowman said ratings were rotten. However, when it re-aired months later, the figures more than doubled, cementing it, at the very least, as a cult hit.
I prefer a flag.
And while much of the show's success is down to the incredible writing, the creators did get lucky with some elements of the magic that made The Office what it was. For example, some major casting decisions did not go the way Gervais and Merchant expected. For Gareth, they wanted to find someone similar to a boy Ricky knew growing up. Gervais said, "This boy was sort of like a sporty, rugger sort of guy who fantasized about getting into the army. So I was looking for someone who looked a bit like they could get into the SAS. And then Mackenzie Crook walked in, and it was even funnier because now it was a guy who weighed about 7 stone and looked like a baby bird talking about killing a man." The thought of Gareth being played by someone who actually could handle themselves in the army is awful. Imagine someone like The Rock going up against him. The dynamic would have bombed. Maybe it would have worked. And speaking of Tim, Gervais said he based him on someone he knew who was a bit of a slob. He went on, but then Martin came in and did it with much more verve and affection, characteristics that stayed with Tim throughout. Which leads us to Tim and Dawn. The Office co-creator said they kept the story grounded. They make it matter. When asked if they would still be together, he said, "They could be married with 5 kids, but what does that mean? We don't know how good that is. That might be terrible. The best thing to say is they're happy. They're fine." Now, before we get to the question of cancellation, Gervais did offer his views on whether or not the show would ever come back, saying, "It would just be too tragic. We won't be able to laugh anymore." He went on, "I think to try and assemble the Office again would be shameful. Why would they be there? It wouldn't be pleasant to watch. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. It works because it's done." However, for anyone unfortunate enough to have seen Life on the Road, it could be argued that Gervais did just that.
Ooh, you're hard, showing off.
So, on the topic of cancellation, Gervais said, "I mean, now, it would be cancelled. I'm looking forward to when they pick out one thing and try and cancel it. Someone said they might try and cancel it one day, and I say, good, let them. I've been paid." The reality is, however, most jokes that would appear to be too severe for today's audiences only serve to highlight Brent's ignorance and neuroses. He is the victim of most jokes. Dr. Simon Weaver, a lecturer in media and communications at Brunel University in London, agrees, saying, "In The Office, the audience are encouraged to identify not with the ignorant Brent, but with the characters Dawn and Tim and the victims of Brent's ill-conceived comments." Are they victims? I don't know. So there we have it. Do you think The Office would be made today? Get involved in the comment section below. Again, if you could give the video a like, that would be swell, and do subscribe to help the channel out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.